Lunches for sure.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to MVP Office Hours. Today is April 24th, 2026. We are all recovering from TDX, and whew, that episode 300 was a rough one. If you guys were with us last go around. Um, our upcoming MVP Office Hours are the 8th and the 22nd of May, because May is coming around the corner pretty quick here. You can register at bit.ly/MVPOH, all caps. It is case sensitive. And you can see our past recordings on YouTube at MVPOHUS because we used to have a Portugal group and then they kind of got they dispersed.
Yep.
And
And
so
quick report, you skim past. Keep in mind the 8th and 22nd are the 2nd and 4th of May because of all the adjustments and the weird month of May. So if it doesn't meet your normal calendar appointments, you're going to get some adjustments. We'll be back on track in June.
um and with that in mind, if it doesn't meet your check in with us kind of schedule, you can still post up in the community group,
Yep.
which is what we prefer because then everyone here can contribute back to what's going on. Um, So you can follow Square and I on LinkedIn if you're interested. Sometimes we're interesting, sometimes we're not. We have a Gmail. We don't prefer it. We actually prefer the community because then you get everybody's input. Um, Upcoming events, we've got Mid-Atlantic Dreamin' and True North Dreamin' and gosh, Dreamin' and Data is going to be in Chicago. There's Texas Dreamin' and Midwest Dreamin' and Witness Success. You forgot Connections, and I don't even know what others.
Yeah, there's so many
Squire.
Salesforce things that I
Mhm.
just took them off because they have plenty of their own advertising to keep them on schedule.
So,
Uh,
Squire, will you put those two links in the chat so that folks can take a look at
you
what they
bet.
want to?
Because we've got New York and Toronto in May, I believe. Connections is May, Tableau's in
Hmm.
June. It's just it would take us a
There's a
whole
lot.
episode to go through everything.
Well,
So I'll get on your next.
I only wanted connections up there is because I got tasked with speaking at connections. So
Oh, congratulations.
yeah, I'm so, I mean, that's all dependent on who knows what. But all right, so all that ground rules. We want everyone to share their experience and their thoughts and insights, etc. We're really excited that you're here. Post your links and resources and answers in the chat because sometimes we can hear you talking, but a link is worth 1,000 words. If you've got questions, post it in the chat or raise your hand with the little like hand raising thing that we all have. It's down at the bottom somewhere. And then don't forget, we are recording the session. We want everyone to keep their jobs. We want everything to be copacetic with your people, and we want everyone to be professional and fun. Do not share any private or proprietary information. Did everyone hear me? Do not share any private or proprietary information. Fantastic. Um, and also, we ask that the call is not transcribed by any AI tools. Have fun, professional, positive, tell a friend, invite a peer. Yay! I think that's it. Oh, and then that's the QR code that'll take you through your Trailhead app to the community. Um, and I think that is it. Do you know, Squire? It was a very quiet week last week and
Yeah.
leading up to this. We only had one adjacent comment that I commented on, and someone had asked, they're like, well, how do you solve your problems? Like, where do you go to find your answers? And when I first started in the community, it was to my peers who didn't know much more about Salesforce than I did. And then it was to help documentation, which was really hard to navigate because it wasn't searchable for a long time. And then the community started building up. And then as the community built up, there became, the answers space. And then, MVP office hours like crossed my understanding of life. And then I was like, oh, here's some people who talk about Salesforce all the time. Let's pick their brains. And so the question is, friends, what other, like besides you being here, because we love that you're here, um, what where do you go to solve your problems and kind of get down to the nitty-gritty of stuff? And open forum, so take yourselves off mute and Ohana Slack, Michael Kolodner, thank you. It's a great space. Is there a specific channel or are you just like bouncing around topically by channel? Michael?
Topically, if it's a flow
Mhm.
thing, I put it in the flow channel. Yeah,
Hmm.
general. But yeah, I would have said community a few years ago, but Ohana Slack is much faster at this point. So sometimes I do both. But
Hmm.
thank you, on. I'm sorry I wasn't at TDX. I missed you too.
You showed up. You showed up for me. Getting your question at True to the Core was fantastic and it made me smile. Cheated the system though. That was great, Michael. Um, where else are we going besides Ohana Slack? Anyone? Did, did, did I need to bring cookies? You guys are all being shy. What is going on?
I
Nobody
mean,
ever needs any help. They don't know how to answer it.
I
Everybody's
will say,
super
other than, I
smart.
mean, I also, there are other Slacks, like I'm in a Slack with other solo
Hmm.
consultants. There's MVP Slack for those of us who are in that. But so peers, I think, is the
Sure.
answer, but you have to have an opportunity to contact them.
Yeah, sure. I think that like there's Partner Blazor, there's Agent Blazor, Slack workspaces, there's Service Blazor workspace, and they're all Slack focused, I think. There's also the Slack community that has a Slack workspace. Um, and I think that that is well and good, but is there other places? Or are we all like so
A
like
book? A book?
a
Maybe?
book that's been published, Pat? Come on. Like which one? Hold
Well,
on, I got it. I got it.
somebody just published a book on LWCs.
I got that one
So,
too. You mean these?
yeah, yeah, those things.
These things. Lightning Web Components. You mean you don't just like call Linda for Lightning
Oh,
Web Components?
Don't call Linda for Lightning Web Components.
see, see. No,
No, it's I mean, I think like some of the documentation that is in books is solid. And I'm wondering though with AI.
Squire, your list is missing AI. Like there were Claude and
Yeah.
Copilot comments in the
Mm-hmm.
chat.
Um and Salesforce support has, an AI assist now too. So like searching for help is a little bit different. And I find that having a human conversation with folks like you, for me, um, really helps me like get the right terminology squared up. But that's me first. So
How many people are going to the local user group for help? Smart. Love that. Back in the before when we had everything was in person, our meetings were usually an hour and a half, and we'd have an hour of content, and then the half hour was like a circle of success where people could just anybody want to stick around could try almost like this type of thing, but in
mhm.
person. It was really a lot of fun to hear multiple people talk about different ways to solve the problems. So
Yeah. How about are any of you like leaning on your AEs and your customer success folks? Oh, Linda. Oh, oh, Linda.
trying to stay
I
positive, but
I will
that
say
that
once in
has
a while I do
changed.
call support, but it only goes so far.
Right. And that's usually because someone over there has to flip a switch. Right.
I don't know about y'all's local events. I guess it's all different depending on the
Hmm.
local leaders. Ours tend to be more forward facing or topical. We do open the floor up for people, but normally people don't do that. And oddly enough,
Mm.
with the volume of events that happen in DFW, we don't have a Sales for Saturday, but I know Austin's Sales for Saturday is very consistent and happening most week, if not all weeks, including holiday weeks. So people do say that they get that help from Sales for Saturdays, but just not local here at Dallas for me.
Hmm. Hmm. The I do think there's a lot of hands that get raised around whatever the topic is at meetings. And there's less of this kind of free for all question and answer kind of situation at community meetings. But I do think the Salesforce Saturday is pretty good. And Chicago does virtual Salesforce Saturdays. If anyone's looking for another place to poke at. I don't have the link right now. I'll find it for everyone.
I can
Um,
post that up. It was last week, and it was cool because half the group was not even in Chicago.
mhm. Yeah,
I don't know about you,
yeah.
but we always found struggles with promoting our local Salesforce Saturdays, where like the people that were at the user group were hearing about the Salesforce Saturdays, but they were already the people that were engaged and like spreading awareness. What are people doing in that space?
You
Post
Ooh,
mean
to
how to
spread
on
promote it?
awareness.
Yeah, like
post
how do
all
you
mine
get
on
someone who
LinkedIn.
can't come to a user group but might come to Salesforce Saturday be aware of Salesforce Saturday because it's not supported by the
Sure.
community?
In
Word of mouth.
yeah, in Chicago, we do something similar to what we've done here, and like all the upcoming events. And so we try to point out the Women in Tech, the nonprofit, the architect group, the Salesforce Saturday. Even though it's not officially supported, we still talk about it happening in Chicago. Like
Right.
Dreaming in Data isn't being put on by the local community group leaders. It's being put on by some other folks that are coming to Chicago, and we're promoting that as well. Um, and so I think regionally there's a lot of cross promotion, but I don't know um, if all of the like metro areas are working the same way. I do think that the Trailhead community, Trailblazer community page on LinkedIn and whatnot is a great place to like start posting stuff and try to get some traction. Um, but also like anytime you have speakers that are crossing metro regional lines, like include more folks there. Um, but I do think that there's a big difference between the in-person meets and the virtual meets. Like I love this because I get to sit in my own desk in my own chair. But like the in-person meets have a different vibe. So and I really want to know why my computer is like having some bits about what's going on here. I don't understand
I
what's
don't
going on
know
with
if
my
you're talking
monitors.
about Evelyn's book, but Squire, I responded to you. Evelyn also does some LinkedIn live events to kind of go through some chapters, but they are on an ad hoc basis. So I've not seen them
Mm-hmm.
scheduled. They get rescheduled, and then occasionally they just randomly pop on, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then for
Yep.
some reason, I don't know if I'm disbarred, but I'm not allowed to comment on their LinkedIn Live.
It might not be you, it might be everyone.
Yeah.
No, no, I've definitely seen people comment back and forth. It's for whatever reason, I am specifically disbarred.
That sounds like an opportunity for a conversation, Ian.
I was just going to add a quick thought about the virtual versus in person. As somebody who's
Mhm.
full time remote,
Yep.
I kind of get to the end of my day, and the last thing I want to do is go join a virtual user group. I don't need to sit in front of my screen for another
Yep.
hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is,
Yep.
depending on the group. And so I've often that's left me a little bit cut off from those kind of gatherings because in where I am, there's no in person. The nearest in person user group's 2.5 hours. And
Oh man.
the one time
Aaron, this just sounds like a ripe opportunity for your local area group to be spun up by you.
I tried, and both people who are certified in my local area said no.
I love that you said both people.
Where are
you
you?
do the outreach, like, is there anybody else around? They're like,
Yeah.
no,
Oh, that's
not
well,
really.
the
There may be more, but they're hidden deeply under a rock somewhere.
I get that. I get that. And so,
If anybody sees this in Southern South Carolina, CSRA, Augusta, Aiken,
all right.
reach out. I'm happy to
Well, I
try to
go
meet
to the
people.
Louisville user group every month.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I just was searching in my email. I just saw that I missed the Indy user group meeting.
Well,
But
the link that we kicked out has a calendar, doesn't it? It's how you guys, I was playing with a stack of paper, my finger got stuck. Um, there is a link that has a calendar view of all of the virtual and in-person meetings. And I don't have it pulled up right now, but
yeah, but Louisville, number one, it's the second Thursday of every month. Number two, it's in person. It's in the evening. There's no recording. And Linda did present there a few months ago.
mhm.
Great presentation.
There you go. There you go. But I guess my point was about the indie.
It just kind of pops up. I don't have time for that just kind of pop up crap. It does.
Well, I'm not arguing with you. As a community group leader, sometimes the opportunity to have that space available is not at our, like, we don't have that we're not in control of it. And so we ask for a date and they're like, oh, that date's not available, but you can have this date. And we're like, well, if we scramble, we can get this popped in. And other times it's planning, right? Because we, like I have a full-time job, my co-leaders have full-time jobs, and my presenters have full-time jobs, and trying to schedule something with all of these people becomes, a challenge. And then we have the added fun of trying not to step on each other's toes in Chicago. Just because we have more than 5 groups. I'm not playing Seven Dwarfs right now. And so, there's I love a cadence. I mean, clearly Squire and I love a cadence.
Yes. The only way I can remember it. It's not for anybody else. I can't be trusted if it's not on the calendar the same day, every day. all
I
the time.
literally have every Friday like blocked on my calendar, regardless if we're meeting or not. And that way, if there's any calendar slips, it doesn't matter.
Yep. Same.
Anything else? No questions this week. Everyone had an easy work week. I'm so glad for all of you.
Okay, I have a question.
I knew it was too good to be true.
That's
And
what-
bring it.
I'm sorry, I can leave this.
No. I'm saying all of us having too easy a week. It was too good to be
I
true.
don't think that's the case. I think we're still trying to compute how to ask our questions because it's been that kind of a week. Okay, I feel really embarrassed to ask this question.
Not at all. Please.
For the life of me, I don't know how the heck to get to the Trailblazer chatter groups. So like I go to trailhead.salesforce.com. I know how to get to
Mhm.
Trailhead that way. Trailhead
Mhm.
Academy. How the heck do I find which chatter groups I belong to and
Hold
find
on.
the link? I always have to go to the Trailblazer group, then click
Nope.
to the discussion to then go and find it.
Hold on.
No, I usually go in Trailhead to, I think it's the community link. And then from there, there's groups. And in the groups, there's my groups.
Lord have mercy.
It's
I
that
feel
one.
like there's some UX opportunity.
What?
Oh,
No. Don't. Chatter is going from grape to raisin right now. So just hold the phone.
Hey, Squire, I noticed that you're just staying silent over there. Letting Joy handle it all.
Yeah.
The
absolutely.
no, that's not it. It's just how I do think that Salesforce is aware of this challenge, and I don't think that they are going to continue nurturing raisins on the vine. So we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
I'm literally like trying to get to my groups and I can't, so it's great.
Yep.
So I feel like you're affirming what I'm saying. Okay, so let's see. Trailhead. Okay, let's do what. Thank
Absolutely.
you. I was like, why is it so hard for me to find?
What I would do is I would definitely like when you get to where you want, I would bookmark it instead of starting from scratch every time.
Yes. So, Michael, the Slack community is through Slack Community. It's a different platform than Trailblazer. So you got to go to slackcommunity.com and then you can find the local chapters that way.
Yeah, the other challenge you have is you have the Slack community groups that platform that holds the meetings, and then you have the Slack community chatter groups that holds the discussions, and then everything else that happens. Because your Trailblazer ID will point you to your badges and your groups and all that good stuff. Oh, you guys. I haven't had to think about this in a minute. Ian.
So Michael K, Free Puppy Love or whatever that website is, that's a really straightforward way. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not as straightforward as it seems because the where you click for each of those keeps moving around the screen. But
It
that
does.
is the navigation path.
I just dropped the Chicago virtual May 16th event.
I have a meeting on May 16th. All right.
The Salesforce Saturday group, sorry.
Oh, fantastic. I was going to say Mary's running that one. Mary and Rob.
It's asking for a password.
Ohana.
Yeah, it's in the post.
Capital H, everything else lowercase.
Yep, it's all good. It's all good. They just try to keep out the bots.
The riffraff.
Yeah. Well, that was there's your answer, I guess. I do think we're gonna see a great improvement in how we are all connecting in the next year or so, but I don't know. I don't know the details.
Okay. Can I have another moment? Sorry.
Yeah. No one else raised their hand. Everyone else is being shy.
Good.
They're just here to
I
listen
wanted
to the
to
nonsense.
congratulate and thank Joy for being a great facilitator of the True to the Core. I did also love Joy trademark that she did open up literally the first moment when they opened up, made the microphones live. She opened it up with a giggle. So consistent Joy is. And thank you, Squire, for being a perfect gentleman and not. Yeah.
Once in a while, I can be trusted in public, so I appreciate that. Thanks.
Well, TDX was a good time. TDX was a good time. And if you want to see how much I embarrassed myself, the True to the Core is on a line on Salesforce Plus. You can watch it there.
I will also add the other amazing thing was you knew everybody who was lined up, ready to go, and so it I think made it really, really smooth, as opposed
Yes,
to hey you next
but
person please.
but Michael Klodner slipped in there in disguise, like rude.
It was not intentional, I swear.
Fantastic, fantastic,
Pat
fantastic.
texted me or slacked me from in the meeting, and he was like, "Missed you. Did you have a question you were going to ask?" And I thought jokingly, I'll tell him what I was going to ask. I really didn't think he would do it.
It was such a great moment. I was like, oh, this is absolutely fantastic. Hi,
It
Michael.
was.
It's nice to see you here.
If only he'd been wearing tie-dye in my honor.
But I mean, like you said, it wasn't planned. It just was, it was just a whole thing. Let's see, do I have the links to this craziness? Oh, I do. Oh, no, no. This is it. Here's the link. Copy link. Y'all can have it here. I haven't watched it yet. So there's also the True to the Core deep dives, which Kate Lassard moderated, and she did a good job with these. The one thing that I took away from this is that the questions really need to be more succinct and more direct.
Yep.
There seems to be a lot of storytelling around the questions, and I don't think that it serves the most people in that space. And I think that if the folks that are asking questions can ask the question, we'll get more people in front of the microphone.
Yeah.
That was about
I
it,
think
though.
we've talked about in great length. Like sometimes some background helps
Mhm.
clarify this question, but too often it's more of like I want to tell a story and I'm gonna
Mhm.
pad a question on to make it seem like I had my time in the sun. So
Yeah.
some challenges there.
Yeah. I did hear one person ask a question, and I don't mean to throw them under the bus, but they ended their time in front of the microphone with like, I don't think I really had a question. I just needed to vent. And that, and I mean, there's a time and a place for that, but like when there are, people lined up to ask questions and there are many, many people listening, like ask a question. That's what it's for. So, that's what I came out of that with. But
Agreed.
overall, like I enjoyed seeing like it was great having familiar faces come up. And Ohad and I talked about things afterwards, so that was good. He's not mad at me for cutting off his second question. Not really, anyway.
I will say that you also did ground the people with the engagement rules. It's not your fault that they didn't follow. So,
if I had a button, no, I'm kidding.
or we could get one of those like little Bo Peep hooks. Just blow them off.
We were kidding around about that.
I gotta ask, Bill. I would love for you to speak a little bit to the thing you mentioned in the chat from last time. But before we do, anybody who was at TDX, raise your hand if you were intimidated by Daniel Peter walking around with the gun show. It was.
I wish
intimidated or like frightened.
All of those things. Like he's a big guy, and
Daniel Peter has got to be 6'6", and he's not a small man, and he cut off or tore off the sleeves of his Trailhead hoodie, and he was giving us a
Yeah, he had the gun show going.
Kind of a gun show on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the one that we totally didn't want to move out of the way to get to the front of the concert.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good guy. He wasn't intentionally being intimidating, but like we were waiting in line to have a conversation with the marketing team and he was next up and I was like, maybe I should let him go first. So, and I couldn't tell if he was
Ooh.
making a point or if he was just, I mean, like,
They're
good on
just
him.
having like
He's clearly working his butt off to get that, like, look the way he looks. But I was like, was there something else there? Like, I didn't get a chance to actually talk to him. So
it's the cheese. It's all the cheese he's making now.
is that what it is? All right,
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, he owns that creamery or whatever. So
And there's also a picture of him with Leah with both their guns ablazing.
Nice.
yeah, it's fantastic. It's
Nice.
fantastic. The all right, so we don't you guys, I don't y'all showed up just to listen to everyone else's problems. I'm so excited, but I'm
We got an
out.
update if you guys are interested.
Yeah.
I know Squire
100%.
is.
Yeah.
I talked about a flow a couple weeks ago that I was working on that I was trying to do what turned out to be which I sort of found by chance, a progress indicator bar. They want a bar across the top like you see on an opportunity path kind of thing. You can do that in Flow now, but the problem is I had a series of checkboxes to start the flow, and it's sort of all conditional based on what they check. Have to make that happen in the indicator bar. And
Mhm.
so I did some Googling after Squire suggested, using a case statement. But I think Squire, it's because it's such a fairly new feature that type of configurability is not possible.
Okay.
But what I did do was I just sort of like after the checkbox screen, added a bunch of elements to sort of build it, like I was saying in the chat to you, sort of in a linear fashion. In other words, the first two steps or the first step is required. So I just assigned, I had to activate that stage and made that active in that first element. But then everything else after that's optional. So like when I get to the second one, I put a decision element that says, okay, if company financials, which is the next step, let's say, is equal to true, then I have as one of the decisions is to make that company financials active. And I did this for each optional one just throughout the list of checkboxes. And then I had the last one is finished. So that I added that as its own little element because that's always going to be there. So that's finished. So then when you run it, you see everything we need to see.
Yeah.
That was
Love it.
pretty sick.
Love it.
Yeah.
We
Show us.
Oh, want me to share my screen?
yeah, it'd be awesome. Yeah.
All right, I can do that. Let's see. All right, so this is the initial. I'm trying to do this without, showing anything I shouldn't, but
Yeah.
this is, they actually choose a type here, but then these are the check boxes, and like some of these are already checked. I even I think anyway, so some of these are already checked, but again, some of these are optional. So they check these, and then it goes to the next screen. The next thing here, it says, okay, opportunity information is always going to be there. They always have to enter some required info for the opportunity. And then the next step here is company financials, where we said, okay, well, on that new opportunity options screen, if company financials is true, then assign, and you have to you use the running flow interview option here and active stages, and you set that company financial stage to true, or you add it as an active stage is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
And then the next one is opportunity team members, and it's just the same process. Okay, is that checked? If it's true, then assign opportunity team stage as an active stage. So then when we get done through all the 8 or 9 of these, you set here's the finished one, by the way, so that finish is always going to be there to end the bar. Then you set the current stage to optional information, and then you start entering your information into so it's less wieldy. What I've had before when I was talking to you guys last time was a one giant decision element that was trying to track all the different permutations, stage 1, 2, had stage 1 through 8, but then we said, it was just going to get unwieldy real fast.
Yeah.
So, with some help from a colleague or a suggestion from a colleague, we just, again, made it more linear. And now if I needed to add something else, I can just tuck it into this line here I have. And by the way, this thing's not done yet. I'm still working on this thing. They want me to add a review submit screen at the end of this. So, which is why I don't have any hair. But anyway.
Bill, two quick questions. Would you go to any one of your decision elements and pop it open?
Yeah.
So when you check if deal read true, and then you go down that path and you assign a value, when you are you adding like text? What are you adding in the next step then?
In the next step, I'm adding that stage to the bar so that, what, I think I can do this. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't have to go all the way through. Let me do a run and you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to choose a type and then I'm just going to check all these off.
Yep.
And when I hit next, there's your bar.
Okay. So because you check those boxes, it adds the chevrons to the potential list.
Right. So if I go back and let's just say I uncheck a couple of these. So see you should see like 4 or 5, these first 3 amendment and then finished. And that's what you get in the bar.
And what is being added? Is it I'm not sure if I remember.
It's an opportunity entry flow.
Okay.
So I've got required information on this first page is all required information. The next page is required information at the top and then some more optional information at the bottom for the opportunity. But then there's other child records that get created. That's what the company financials is. That's what the opportunity team members is. That's what the amendment is. There are other child records that get created with the opportunity.
So thank you. I was going to follow up with that. I guess what I meant to ask was that bar at the top, what is being added to that bar? Are they like text boxes? Like, how does it know to add a chevron shaped element to this queue called company financials? What is that?
Yeah. Let me show you where I found this and maybe this will help. In the properties of the flow, if you go to show advanced, there's a show progress indicator at the on screen elements.
Yep.
And so I checked that off and I chose, you've got a couple options here. One is the simple one, which I think is just dots. It doesn't even put anything in here.
Right.
But then they give you the path option. And that's how, and the other piece to this is, again, you've got to I created resources, and they're stage resources.
Yep.
And by adding, here we are. These are all the stages. So by adding those stages and making them active, then it knows to add it to the path.
Would you open any one of those up?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never done this, and I want to see how you. The reason I'm asking for 2 reasons. So one, I've never built one of these, so I'm learning, which I love. I was also trying to understand if you're doing an assignment, but I wasn't sure if you're just effectively setting it true false. Because if you are, you wouldn't have to do a decision. You could just evaluate the current state of an assignment without having to say, is it true, is it false? But it doesn't look like it works that way. So I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Okay. Yeah. I think the true false part too is based on the check boxes that start this whole thing off.
Yep. But if you say what I was getting at is if you're saying if variable 1 is true, do a thing, you can just say assign the variable because the variable knows it's true or false. You don't have to check if it's true or false. but it only works if this is expecting that type of response. It might not be. So
Yeah.
I need to do some playing, but I've never played with this, so this is cool.
Yeah,
And then
I mean, again, this is an order to the stage, by the way. So, you can they tell you to number them by like tens or something. So in case you want to add more in the middle, you got room.
yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So
And then the follow-up question, and this is actually for the group, but it's something that I'm always pushing my engineers to do. Would you scroll down to any one of the decisions?
oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just curious what people think. I have been pushing to never use default outcome as the label for the default outcome. Explain what the opposite is, even if it is obvious. Because the uninitiated, when they're reading that, they have to figure out what the opposite of that decision is, or if there's multiples. So like outcome one of op contact role should probably be called something like this is checked true, and the outcome would be the default is this is checked false. Like it should be descriptive, so anybody who reads it knows exactly what that means without having to understand the machinations of the flow. It's something you can fix well after the fact once you get it to work, but
Right.
I think personally that's a best practice.
I agree.
Thumbs up from Michael.
Yeah, prefer to have that kind of clarity of the label because it's that version I've like the use 6 months from now has to stop and think about it. Even if you can figure it out right now, it's obvious, but does the use 6 months from now remember what you were thinking?
Yep. And I also wanted to scold you. I didn't see a description filled out on any of your components.
So I was going to say, I also named the decision like what it's deciding between within reason, because obviously there's not a lot of room, but like, is op contact role checked or is op contact role true or whatever. And then your outcomes might be yes and no, although you run out, you do yes _1, yes _2. But anyway, and I'm going to say, I don't think descriptions are necessary if the label is already descriptive enough.
Fair enough. I would not argue against that.
Labels change
Yeah.
rudely.
And what happens about the thing about, using agent force? Don't you have to have a description on everything?
Best practice for sure.
Yeah, it's because the agent works better if you've got descriptions on it. Correct. So good call out.
I mean, it can read the name, but some of the assumption there was that the names suck.
Well, also some of the assumption was that they made sense and they weren't spelled wrong and they weren't abbreviated and they weren't shorthand and acronyms. Who's calling me? Go away.
Sorry, that was me.
Spammer voicemail. I don't know. Go.
Yep.
Shoot. I'm busy.
Thanks for sharing that, Bill. That's awesome. I have some homework to do. So
absolutely happy to help.
Nothing else, you guys.
Who else is going to New York City World Tour?
I am not. Michael had a question about Slack community groups, Slack workspaces. So not Slack community, other community workspaces. Yeah, I know, Mike. I watched your confusion, like shift gears there. So for example, Agent Blazer, Partner Blazer, Service Blazer, MuleSoft, Community, which, gosh, I'm part of now. What? And besides Ohana Slack. I know a lot of the conferences spin up Slack workspaces also, but I'm not aware of any official list. So if anyone has a link to an official list, we can get that. But aside from that, what I can do is make a list of invitations. Michael Montez when I have like 15 minutes, if that'll help you. And I'll post it up in the MVP chatter group because we don't have a Slack workspace. It costs money.
At the risk of being frowned at from our guest Salesforce employee, I'm still a terrible Slack user and I don't know how to be a better Slack user. And I don't want to hear Slack school and I don't want to hear trails. Like it's like, well, and the reason is because it happens once, like I can't log in during the day. and it's
Mhm.
really hard to learn from your phone, in my opinion. So like
You mean to use it or to build it?
use it, not build it. I know Slack School is a great way to like admin
Mhm.
it and figure out how to use it, but I like every time someone goes, I slacked you, and I'm like, what?
So
Yeah.
it you can't open Slack, like you don't use Slack at your company, and so it's just not open all day long. So when someone sends you a message, you don't see it.
Now I don't see it, can't get to it unless I'm on a personal device.
Okay.
So
And um so the problem is that Slack isn't open, or you can't open Slack.
the problem is that I don't know what to do once I've got the app open because I use it so infrequently. I can't build like
Oh,
good
yeah,
habits. I don't know if I'm
yeah.
doing things the right way. I know all the terminologies. I know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
supposed to be able to accomplish, but when I've got like 7 icons on the left-hand side, I don't know what those mean. I don't know how to keep like
Those are all workspaces.
They could be, unless you have that hidden.
I say unless you have never customized it and they're hidden by default.
This is true. This is true.
I'm certain I
Oh,
didn't customize anything because I wouldn't even start.
Squire, are we gonna have to have like our own little Slack Saturday to figure this out for you?
You know what? That's exactly what I need is a Slack Saturday to Squire. Here's how you use Slack well, because I'm just winging it, and the number of times I miss important messages and updates, it's embarrassing. So
Well, we'll have to do something. We'll have to figure something out. And
what
what do
we
you
could
got?
do? How about if we do a hands-on training at the Milwaukee Admin User Group, led by someone who's knowledgeable on the platform in a month and a half, 2 months? Let me know if you
You
think of
should
anybody that
just
might be able to
email
do that.
Mike and invite him.
You know,
I'll,
you know,
I'll talk to your user group.
I was gonna say
I would love to have Michael use
there's I'm wondering if there's anyone up that way also besides Mike.
As long as it's not during Mid-Atlantic Dreaming because I'm there, or during True North Dreaming because I'm there, or the week after that, that's Slack Dev Day because I'm in San Francisco, or 2 weeks after that when I'm at London's Calling, or the week after that where I'm actually taking PTO,
Pat, you
or the week after
remember
that where
what I was saying about availability of speakers and coordination of space and this is what we're working with.
I'm just gonna
Mike,
be
you should just like
quiet
list
on
your
that
free days.
because I'm just gonna be quiet on that, okay?
It's all right, yeah. Just navigating all the things.
Hey Squire, couldn't you like learn Slack, like have it on your phone, and then when somebody slacks you, you could do it from there? You don't need to be able to see all the groups. I mean,
Well, I mean, so just to be clear, if I happen to see a little light show up on something, I will click around until it shows up. So, like, I'm fully capable of reading a Slack message and even responding sometimes, but I don't use it well or well enough to be competent. And so I miss things. I don't know how or why I'm supposed to do things. I get Slackbot invitations that I don't know if it's notifications or if it's an act. Like, I'm so effing lost because it's once every 3 weeks I log into this thing.
Oh, totally. So there is a fundamental problem that is noise in Slack, which it's not just you, right? Although I will admit, you are part of the problem. I'll get to that in a moment. I'm just going to be polite and blame it on other things first, but I'll get to your fault too. The central problem with Slack, broadly speaking, is that if you just set it up and then you log into it, what I mean by set it up, so I've logged into Slack and now I'm in some active workspace. The downside of that is you have not actually configured notifications and notification settings. You have not told Slack what you care about and what you don't. And as a result, Slack by default sort of notifies you about everything all the time. And it's way too much and it's hard to figure out what you're doing and it's crap. It's a crap experience. If you begin to be active, or you start to take a more active role in what you get notified about and what you don't, you can then start to say, all right, when this whole channel makes noise, I don't want to hear about it. I would also recommend, like, some people get really offended when I say this. You don't have to answer messages that aren't actually important. And broadly speaking, you can probably leave 80% of the channels that you're in. And one of the things I do like rather frequently is I go up into Slack. There's a little, you've got a gear icon, you click on the gear icon. The fourth option down is like clean up my channel list. Then you set the number of days. It shows you how many channels that you personally have been inactive or the channel has been inactive within the time frame that you want, 30 days, 45 days, whatever it is. And then you just leave all those channels. Just say goodbye to them. You're inactive in it anyway. Go ahead and leave it. And when you do that, you shrink the world to a point that it's the stuff that you actually cared about, and then your experience of using Slack is a lot better. I will say though, as a person who's in too many Slack workspaces, I will never get all the notifications. And so if somebody sends me a message and it's not in a workspace that I actually pay attention to, it will go ignored until the rest of time because you just sent it to the wrong place. It's like you sent it to my email address because I don't check that. Right. You yelled in an empty hallway.
All right.
Brutal.
Don't do it, Squire. Just stay away from Slack.
I want desperately to not be using Teams, but it's never going to happen. So.
Yeah.
Right.
So to that end, I have a response to that. Mike or whoever, Mike plus et al. I also work in an organization that uses Teams. I have seen Slack, but it has subsequently been blocked in our environment. How do I convince InfoSec and my IT leadership to take advantage of Teams plus Slack and all the advantage of all that fun stuff? Yes, Pat.
Because the next time they have a renewal for Microsoft, Teams will have a Teams will be, you'll have to pay for it. Okay. Beforehand, it was just kind of globbed all in, and then somebody in the EU did not like that, so they had a lawsuit, and so now Teams has to have an amount that you pay for it. So
you're saying, Pat, when someone says, "Why are we now paying for Teams?" you can say, "Well, if you're going to pay for Teams, you might as well pay for Slack." Is that what you're coming at?
Maybe, and maybe Slack can be, I don't know what it costs to have Slack. I don't know, but yeah.
$1 million.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it, but
it's not that much.
It's only $500,000. No, but that might be one of your things. That's what I learned when I went to Dreamforce last year, is that Teams is going to be a paid.
Well, I mean, it always was. It was just baked in, and
right. Yeah.
So Slack
it can no longer be bundled. Microsoft is not allowed to sell Teams as a zero cost item as part of purchasing some broader thing. You have to have an invoiced line item for it. They can solve that problem very easily by just charging $0 for it, or charging you a penny and then taking a penny off something else. I don't think that it's going to be substantive when people actually get down to the brass tacks of it, because for the most part, nobody pays list price for anything if you're an enterprise. That's certainly true for us as well. We have a list price, like a UE Service Cloud is $330 a month per user. That I don't know anyone who is being billed that unless you have 3 users. And the same is going to be true for Slack. If you're talking about an enterprise edition of Slack, I don't even know what the list price is, and it would be fairly irrelevant because your account executive is going to tell you what it costs. And then you're going to tell them it should cost less, and they'll agree and lower it a little bit, and that's what you buy.
Well, for me, when I was working at Salesforce, one thing they tell you is never talk about prices if you're in consulting or in delivery, which is where I sat, but talk about the value that you contribute. So how can I convince my peoples about the value? It would be good to kind of understand the sales book.
So I wouldn't know anything about the sales book because I don't talk to those people at all. But if I were talking to a person in InfoSec who told me that they were not evaluating Slack because they didn't want to open that can of worms, I would say, oh, cool. Ask Copilot. Just say to Copilot, before I give you this data, I want to be sure that you will not use it for anything outside of the scope of my company. I want to be sure that there will be no AI training of this data. There will be no use of this data anywhere. You don't have to have any data, just ask the question. You'll get an answer that will be suggestive that that data is not particularly secure. You can perform the same trick with any AI service you want. And then you can Google the headlines that Slack made that we will not allow AI training of data or any use of AI data on your Slack data because trust is our number one priority. So if I were talking to an InfoSec person, I would probably go down that path. But
What was
I'm
that
not.
prompt, Mike? You want to put that in the chat?
No, just say before I give you this sensitive data, I want to be sure that you won't use it for anything. Is this truly secure? Just say something like that. And tell me what you get.
Okay, well, A, thank you. And B, thank you for last week as well. It was fun seeing you.
But also, your InfoSec team might have its own LLM that they're paying for that they
They
can
might.
use. So we have Copilot, and we have, or Microsoft House. I have stuck on Teams as well, but
Yeah.
we have a paid Copilot branding that is private and is all that
Is it?
stuff. So yeah, ours is. It's
Is it really?
full. It really
Like
is.
without AI training?
Correct. Everything. Yeah. It's
Like they don't train on your data though.
correct.
Wow.
Okay. I did not know that they even negotiated that.
Yeah, I believe
In fact,
ours
everybody
is a
will
private
negotiate it. Now,
Copilot.
the next question is how true is it? But that's a fair question of you all as well, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't prove
Fair.
Salesforce doesn't train,
Yeah.
right? Like, and so, but both Microsoft and Google will happily sell you terms and conditions that say you're fully isolated. The question is whether it's true under the hood.
Yeah. The only one that I know that has like a full-on bounty where they do it is Apple. Apple has said when you're using their AI tools, they will, I don't know what you need to do to get access, but they will give you access. And if you can find evidence that they've retained any logs, they will, I want to say it's $1 million bounty on that. We don't have that, but we do have it in our T's and C's that we don't permit it.
And to be clear, I'm not accusing you of anything. Just
no.
Right, like at some point, it's that trust thing kicks in of the like we do
Right.
any T's and C's, anybody writes.
Yeah.
For anything behind it, there's a layer of trust that starts to have to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Because for other security reasons, you don't let us crawl all over your stack and double check all of your work and
right. Well, I mean, the model of how Salesforce is structured and organized is such that we couldn't. But that's obnoxiously technical. Like we don't erase things, we write over. Is the reason why there's a null pointer error. We don't actually clear anything. We just keep plowing over the next use. So at any point in time, the heap that you were allocated, it still has ones and zeros in it. And so we don't let you point at anything that you have not already specifically set a value on. Even if the value itself that was set was null, we require that you do that. But it's faster, so it makes sense.
Okay. So there's your answer, Anne. And all of you that globbed onto that question, that was fantastic. Michael Montez, you had another question about Salesforce Foundations.
I just found out about it at TDX. Did anybody turn it on theirs?
I haven't touched this yet.
Give yourself some Agentforce for free, apparently.
Check out and head back to setup to start using Foundations. Yeah,
they were showing it in the flows because
the credit allocation is pretty small.
Yeah.
Still, it's. And we have we're going to leverage the credit allocation for some of our work with Marketing Cloud, Growth Advanced, whatever the heck the new one's name is this week. They probably renamed it last week, and I haven't caught up yet from the previous 3 renamings. But I'm yet to talk to anybody at Salesforce who actually knows the name. So confidently, but
it turns on all the back setup stuff that you would need if you're as an admin, or the setup LLM stuff and all the flow conversations that you can have in there. So I was just curious about
it's there, and you can set up a whole bunch of stuff. But the actual allocations are pretty small. You could burn through them real quick.
Yeah, I've heard people say that it's easy to turn on and fun to play with and hard to deprecate.
Oh,
Because once you start to use it, what do you do with everything that's tied to it when you decide that you're not going to maintain it or sustain it or want it to be part of your org?
mm-hmm.
I don't have any functional knowledge of that. That's just what I've been hearing.
Yeah. Something to check out.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it is a nice way to kind of get a wet your beak on all of the Salesforce features. So if nothing else, maybe it's something you turn on in a dev org and play around with. Just see what the scope is.
oof. Good stuff. All right. All right. Did we get all the questions?
I think so. We were laughing so much that I don't know if I missed anybody. If I did, I apologize, but I think I got everybody. And we had a couple of new attendees, I think, too. Did I see that? I don't remember meeting Aurora in the past.
Oh, I know Aurora. She's been here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Aurora's one of my Chicago locals. She's old. In the chat. Anyway, I think that about wraps things up for us, right? Like,
Yeah. Just a quick shout out, Joy. I'm sure you have the same. It was great to see any one of you that we saw as a real person at TDX. FaceTime is
indeed.
the best time. And if we missed you, sorry. And Pat, let us know if we can help you on your new career path. Reach out. We'll see what we can do to direct. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got, Squire. That's all we got.
You too.
So,
Same.
Bye, everybody. Have a good
all
weekend.
right. Happy Friday, friends. See you later.
Friday.
Bye.
Bye.